Baseball comes to you on a beautiful sunny day in Kansas City. In the standings, it's the Royals against the Tigers. But here in KC, it's salute to the Negro Leagues. It's the Kansas City Monarchs and the Detroit Stars. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. It's also dressed to the nines today. So Hud went out, bought himself a nice fedora for today. I'm just wearing the free giveaway.
How about the $2 tie I picked up at a garage sale?
Yep, you paid $2 for that, huh?
Believe it.
Yeah, rip off. Joel and Monty will be coming up in just a little bit. We have a good pitching matchup today. Jacob Junis, who continues to impress and pitch well against the Red Sox in his last start. Matthew Boyd for the Tigers. It was a much different day back on April the 9th. Very cold in Detroit.
Oof.
And those two both pitched gems.
They did. It was a well pitched and a great baseball game if you like pitching. But remember, now we see Junis here. Junis went 7 strong innings. Just 3 hits, no runs. He was putting the ball exactly where the Tigers hitters didn't want it. Now he's got sleeves on. That's respectable. How about Boyd? You'd think it's a midsummer day. No sleeves on. I remember it was just frigid. The temperatures were unbelievable. But he, too, kept the ball out of the zone, and our hitters couldn't do anything against him. But let's see what's going to happen today. It's a new day, and it's hot and warm out here at the K.
And while that was a bad day for the Royals against Boyd back in Detroit, the Royals have actually had a good year against left-hand pitchers. Royals and the Tigers. It's been a struggle for the most part for the Royals offense. They have started to warm up in the past week, but one consistent all season long in our Kia drive to success. The Royals have done well as a team against left-hand pitching. Why? Well, it's because that left-hander breaks that breaking ball into the right-handed batter. It's easier to hit a ball coming in than going away. Now that was a left-hander going away from him, but look at the ball coming into righties. They love it. You're pull conscious. The left side of the infield for Boyd, we're going to get worked out today. I can tell you. Look at that. You pull homers, you pull that ball more, and they're finding holes, and it's a beautiful thing. For Jacob Junis, this will be his third start against the Tigers this year, and Monty will have keys for his success today when we come back.
Face Detroit for the third time this season, coming off of an excellent performance in Boston earlier in the week. And we welcome you back to Kauffman Stadium, continuing dressed to the nines, Joel Goldberg, Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery, and for Jacob Junis, Monty, 3 games this year he has not allowed a home run. He's won each one of those, including 2 against Detroit. How about some more keys for him today?
Yeah, I think when I watch Jacob Junis, I really like what I've seen, and I'm a big fan of if it's not broken, don't try to fix it. So for me, just stay the course. Keep doing exactly what you've been doing, and things will be just right. I'd also like to see him expand his strike zone. When he gets ahead of hitters, he's got that great slider. He can really get hitters a chase out of the strike zone with that pitch. And also get some early countouts. Pitch to contact, your stuff's really good. It'll play out very nicely. Get some early countouts.
2-0 with a 1-2-0 against the Tigers this year. 4 of his 12 career wins against Detroit. Now Jorge Soler, Salvador Perez and company looking for their first series win of the year. More coming up.
Missouri Lottery. Every ticket played gives back to Missouri schools. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. And by Chevrolet, the most awarded and fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall. Find yours at your Kansas City area Chevy dealers. On a beautiful day in Kansas City, it'll be Jacob Junis for the Royals, Matthew Boyd for the Tigers. The Royals need a win today for their first series victory of the season. Kansas Cityans in the spirit of dressing to the nines. Before the game, Whit Merrifield and Danny Duffy were presented awards from the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum for their efforts last year. There's Bob Kendrick, who's always dressed to the nines, visiting with the Royals. He'll be up here in the booth with us. He was joined by Joel and Monty during the pregame show. And the Royals take the field in their Kansas City Monarchs uniforms. And the Tigers are in the Detroit Stars uniforms. 83 degrees and nothing but sunshine in Kansas City, and the Royals with a win today would win their first series of 2018. Let's take a look at the Tigers lineup today, and Ron Gardenhire has rested many of his regulars. First of all, Miguel Cabrera was placed on the disabled list after the first game of this series, so he's not in there. Jeimer Candelario is out of the lineup, so Nico Goodrum will play at third base. Nicholas Castellanos is out of the lineup, so Victor Reyes, the Rule 5 player, will be in right field, and James McCann is not in there. So batting eighth and making his big league debut is catcher Grayson Greiner. All to face Jacob Junis, who's making his 7th start of the year.
There you go. Tigers got their hands full. They've seen him once this year. They saw one of his best. Went 7 strong. Twice. Excuse me. They've seen him twice. He's tough. They know it. Opponent average only 199. 3.29 ERA. He's tough. Strikeouts with 30 at 38 1/3. He's got a great slider. There it is. Throws it 34% of the time. Fastball 57%. Changeup and curve not so much, but he will pull them out, especially the changeup when he needs it. A lot of strikeouts on the slider.
There's our crew chief, Jeff Nelson. He'll be out at second base today. Jansen Visconti. We saw his major league debut as an umpire when the Royals were in Toronto last month, and he will be back at the plate, a minor league umpire who gets the opportunity to fill in at the big league level. One of the regulars is away for a break. Leonis Martin leads off for the Tigers, and he rips at the first pitch and fouls it away. Martin almost helped the Royals come back yesterday afternoon. He dropped a fly ball in left center field, which allowed a run to score and put the tying run in scoring position in the 9th inning. But Shane Green was able to pitch his way out of that.
Man, I thought for sure it was set up for the Royals to come from behind and get that win in his first major league debut for Adams. That was all set up to happen, and it just didn't. Wasn't meant to be.
1-2 on Martin. Jacob Junis has 12 wins as a big league pitcher, and 4 have been against the Tigers, including 2 this year. Back and just over our heads. So his career numbers are a little deceiving because he got knocked around in his first start against Detroit. But this year he's only given up 2 runs in 15 innings to the Tigers, and he opens today with a backdoor slider and a strikeout against Martin.
Well, for the Royals, there are forward around the horn Royals defense. Jorge Soler's been making some outstanding plays in right. Almonte can go get him in center. John Jay takes great routes to the ball in left. Moose, Escobar, Merrifield, Cuthbert, and Drew Butera is getting the reps behind the plate in this afternoon's final game of 4.
Jose Iglesias ducks away from a breaking ball, so he'll bat second with Candelario out of the lineup. Off of first base, and Cuthbert is there for the second out.
Okay, a little cue shot and a little bit of sun involved with the difficulty on that play. Wasn't routine. It looked like it, but it wasn't. Eye black helps a lot, cuts the glare down. Sunglasses obviously cut the glare on even better.
So Victor Martinez with 2 down. He's had a heck of a series. 5 out of 7. The last time the Royals and Tigers played was in Detroit, and he was 1 for 15 in that series. And those struggles continued until the beginning of this series. He had been 4 for 39. That's 103 coming into this series with the Royals, but appears to be back on track. He is down 0-2 against Junis.
Okay, this is why he's been so productive recently, is he knows teams are trying to pitch him in. They play him on the pull shift, and he says, all right, if you're going to pitch me in with fastballs, I'm going to turn on you. And we've seen it a lot in this series. Now with 2 strikes, he'll try to go the other way, just like they did. That's why Mike Jerschley, infield instructor for the Royals, has Escobar over there along with Moose on the left side. So leaving a gaping hole in this particular spot right here, but they're taking their chances.
Changeup just fades outside. 1-2.
Butera turned his glove just a little bit to make it look like it was a strike on the corner. Good job of presentation.
Started to go and was able to check. 2-2 on Victor Martinez.
Victor's not easy to strike out. He's 3rd in the league. He strikes out 11.1% of the time, or every at bat, per at bat. Not easy. Escobar's right behind him.
Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Junis is giving Soler a little extra time to retrieve that ball down in the corner and get it out of play. There's that wide open hole. And Martinez appeared to stay back on a changeup. So that's a pitch that's designed to pull, but he still went up the middle for a 2-out single.
That ball could have bounced 3 more times and we still would have made it. Look at there's nobody there but the umpire, and he doesn't have a glove. He can't play. But you know he's going to put it in play. He's tough to strike out. Has a little bit of pride in that department.
So it's John Hicks batting cleanup. Junis misses outside, ball 1. Hicks is 4 out of 12 in this series. That's a swing. 1 ball, 1 strike. One and 2. Jacob last pitched Tuesday, and that was coming off 5 home runs against the White Sox. But he took the mound at Fenway Park and held the Red Sox to 2 runs in 6 innings. And early in this season, that's the best offensive team in the American League. And didn't allow a run until the 6th inning, and he was in a duel with Chris Sale, and Boston ended up winning that game. The Royals ended up winning that game 7-6 late. Ned Yost was downplaying that somewhat, talking to the media today about his ability to bounce back after the game against the White Sox. And Ned was basically saying, look, just get used to the fact that he's good.
Yeah, ask Hicks. He just swung and missed at that one. He's looking back going, wow, he is good.
And the Royals will be facing lefty Matthew Boyd when we come back. Duda is not in there today. Chesler Cuthbert is playing at first base. Alex Gordon, it's a rare day off. So the Royals have Abraham Almonte in center field and John Jay in left. It'll be the 2nd time this year that the Royals see Matthew Boyd, and he gave up just 1 run in 6 innings back on April the 3rd in a duel with Jacob Junis.
He's going to fastball, slider, curve change, basic 4 pitches, but he's going to mix them up like most left-handers do. Not exactly a flamethrower, but he's going to average about 88. He might hit some 91s, 92s.
That's by Goodrum, who misjudged that ground ball, and here's Witt digging for 2. It's a base hit. And Goodrum, to me, looked like he was reacting on a ball that was hit harder than it actually was.
Well, you know what? Sometimes you can get fooled if you're on the defense. Sometimes a hitter hits a changeup at you. Sometimes it doesn't. It was an in-between hop. And let's not discount all the white hats and white T-shirts that he's seeing. Now, Whitley, leg double. Gotta love it. First hit of the game, a leg double. Fans are pumped.
And now Jorge Soler. Big breaking ball stays outside. Soler went 0 for 4 yesterday. That put an end to a couple of streaks for him. A career high 10-game hitting streak and a career high 19-game on base streak. That'll be back and out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Numbers don't lie. So far early, he's torching left-handed pitching. Ball's coming in. We talked about it in the open of our show, especially Boyd's left side of the infield. Going to be getting a lot of action. Ball breaking in, right-handed batters, pull. It's time to pull. Find the hole.
Two balls, 2 strikes. You and I visiting with Ned Yost before today's game. I asked Ned, for a power hitter who handles lefties well, what does that tell you? And Ned said his ability to pull the ball, because what the lefty's trying to do is tie him up. And then a strike over the outside. Jorge did not think so.
He thought it was down. Let's see. You know, good pitch. That's all you got to say. You got to tip your hat to Matthew Boyd. And you know, the reason why they're trying to tie Soler and some hitters up, the lefties and these big right-handers, is because his arms are so long. When he gets extended, he does damage. Tie him up, try to jam him, break his bat. Same thing with Moose. They want to pitch him in and soft away, hard in, soft away.
Merrifield takes off for third, and he's in there. So he picks up Soler, who is not able to advance Merrifield to third, and that is his 5th stolen base of the year. Stealing on Grayson Grainer, making his big league debut.
Yes, great phrase you used there. Happens in baseball a lot. He picked him up. He picked up Soler. Okay, Soler couldn't make a productive out, so Merrifield steals and gets into scoring position, less than 2. Yeah, this game revolves around picking up your teammate when failure happens. And unfortunately, failure happens way too often in this sport.
Mike Moustakas has been held to just 1 RBI by Tiger pitching so far in the series, and he has a runner at third with 1 out. And Boyd is pitching him carefully. No swing. Laz Diaz is the umpire at third, and now it's 3-0 on Moustakas. Salvador Perez is on deck. Swinging 3-0. Witt tags. Jones makes the catch. Jones fires it to the plate. It's not in time. So Moustakas picks up Merrifield, who picked up Soler, and the Royals lead 1-0.
Jacoby Jones, he has a good arm. He gets behind it, good technique, but Whitley too fast. Just too fast, and he gets the job done. Look at how casual he went back there. Okay, he's under control. Make sure he leaves as the ball's caught, and that way it's a legal sacrifice fly. Now that ball took a bad hobby. Perfect throw, probably wouldn't have got him either. Nicely done.
Upstairs to Salvador Perez. He's the DH today. called strike. Salvi discusses it with the home plate umpire. Salvi is homered in this series. He has 18 in his career against the Tigers, the most for him against any opponent. Up into the bright blue sky, and Reyes is over from right, and that'll do it. So a misplay and a double, a hustling double by Whit Merrifield. He steals third and comes home on a Mike Moustakas sac fly.
Ripped him off.
Come up in the second. Let's go down to Joel.
All right, Ryan, thank you very much. Abraham Almonte back out there today, and maybe that is a good thing against the Detroit Tigers, because the bulk of his production so far as a Royal has been against Detroit. Think about this. He's batting .226 with 3 homers and 8 RBIs. 6 of the 8 RBIs, 2 of the 3 home runs have come against Detroit. 7 for 17 with a .412 batting average and an OPS of 1.209. But more importantly than that, regardless of who he's playing against and when he is on the bench, keep an eye on him. He doesn't sit still. He's on the top step cheering everyone on. He's jumping up and down. He's preparing to get into a game like he might be the pinch runner well in advance. This is a high energy guy, and it has certainly been noticed around here.
1-2 on Jacoby Jones, and his home runs have not only helped the Royals, but they've been worth a lot of money to Royals fans. The Sonic Slam inning this year.
Better believe it. But you know, that's important what he brings. Good pitch. Junis. That's now the second time out of his 3 strikeouts he got a guy looking. Watch the pitch here. It's a slider. This froze him. He was obviously looking for something else. And it's too bad because Jacoby, you got to go. Yeah, nice pitch. Right down the middle.
Here's Nico Goodrum.
Energy giver. That's what Joe was saying about Almonte. That's important over the course of a long haul of a baseball season, and every day helps guys a lot by seeing a guy with a smile, bouncing the clubhouse, bouncing life in the locker room, right there in the dugout. Hard to replace that. Gotta have him.
One and two on Goodrum. With Merrifield hit a ground ball by him in the first inning, which resulted in the hustling double. He's filling in at third today for Jamer Candelario. Man, hard, late breaking, wicked slider. And Junis has struck out 4 of the first 6. As you enjoy a Miller Lite, look forward to the Hold True moment later in today's game. Dixon Machado with 2 down, nobody on. Slice near the line, and Soler is there. That's a fair ball catch. And a quick top of the second for Junis with just 11 pitches. You can bid on the game used and autographed uniforms and helmets that both teams are wearing. All proceeds benefit the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. And to place your bid, visit Royals.com/NLBM, and you can begin bidding right now. Cuthbert tried to stay back on a breaking ball, and Machado goes out and almost bangs into the right fielder Reyes. One away in the bottom of the second.
Reyes not get a chance to play every day, not used to it with Castellanos out there, but you got to make it clear if you're the outfielder, Reyes. If you want that ball, you make sure Machado hears you. Machado's not saying anything. That's what you're trained to do. Infielders don't say a word. I got it all the way until I hear the outfielder call me off. So if there was a bad collision there, that would have been Reyes' fault. He didn't say nothing.
1 strike on John Jay. 2 strikes on John Jay, who has a 6-game hitting streak. One and 2. Two balls, 2 strikes.
And he's missing way outside with the breakers on John Jay. Lefties, 297. Doing a pretty good job. One of the reasons why is he's hitting the ball to the opposite field. Just like that. He's getting a lot of breaking balls. He's hitting them. Let's show you where he's hit the ball this year. There you go. Nice even amount. Get his hits, he'll pull them, but he's not afraid to take a shot to the opposite field. And Boyd is nowhere close with those breaking balls.
To the opposite field, and Jones jogs up and left. 2 outs. And now Abraham Almonte, who had a solo home run yesterday against the Tigers. That gives him 3. And he'll dig in from the right side against Boyd. Outside for ball 1. He's the subject of our Kubota power stats. Here are the numbers that Joel was referring to. 2 home runs, 6 driven in, and hitting over 400 against Detroit this year. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Home run he hit in yesterday's game was a beauty off of Hardy. Another left-hander. Good, easy, short, level swing.
2-1. Good slider underneath his swing. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Exactly where that left-hander wants to place it on a righty. Starts out on the outer half of the plate, ends up under your back leg.
And then backdoor slider. So Boyd really carved up Almonte there. He has retired the last 6. That's his 2nd strikeout. Reasons why we are here today, helping support one of the great institutions in our city, the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. And today the Royals are wearing one of the many spiffy uniforms of the Kansas City Monarchs, and the Tigers of the Detroit Stars. And that's Grayson Grainer getting a base hit to left field in his first major league at bat. So he'll never forget May 6th at Kauffman Stadium against Jacob Junis on just the 2nd pitch that he sees in the major leagues.
Look at that. middle in, elevated. Bob, I believe you could have hit that one. That's right. The more elevated the pitch is, the easier it is to put in play.
Well, it might give me a shot. Maybe I can stick the bat out in front of it. It might hit the bat.
Yeah, it looks so easy, doesn't it?
It does.
Oh, man.
It does. The late, great Buck O'Neil would say, you know, everybody thought they could play this game because everybody can play this game, but you could have two 80-year-old men sitting on the couch and a guy drops a pop fly and the first words come out of their mouth, I could have caught that. Yeah,
Exactly
that's
right.
baseball. That's baseball.
What a great day. Did you order this weather today?
Well, you know, I asked for a little help. Buck gave us a little help. Now, he might have turned the thermostat up a little higher than I wanted it for Dress to the Nine, but beggars can't be choosy. No, beautiful day here at the K.
And as you've taught us over the years, that there was no Dress to the Nines in the Negro Leagues, right? This is how everyone dressed for every game, right?
Every game, every game. You know, it was a show, and people took great pride, Ryan, in how they left house. You know, your grandmother wouldn't go to the store and get the groceries if she wasn't dressed. And of course, baseball was no exception. And in the African-American community, it took on an even greater meaning. Black churches would move their 11 o'clock service to 10 o'clock so that people could go out and watch the Monarchs play. And everybody left church going to that Sunday doubleheader dressed to the nines.
Love it. I love seeing those old pictures, and everybody had a hat. You know, we're wearing hats today to you know, salute the tradition of Dress to the Nines, and we, you know, I didn't even try and dress up with you in the booth today, but I just love seeing those old pictures. All the guys had their hats on, and the ladies were in their Sunday best.
Oh yeah, they had the
even if it was 100 degrees, right?
It didn't matter. It didn't matter because, you know, back then nobody had any air conditioning anyway.
Right.
So you didn't miss. You don't miss what you don't have.
Bob, and another thing that they were looking forward to was to see some outstanding baseball. The way it was played. These guys hustled. They played hard. It was day game until later they developed the lights. The truck pulls up in the back of the fence, and they started having night games in the Negro League. And that was the first time in all of baseball that they were having night games. Is that correct?
1930.
Yeah, because that's one of the things that impressed me most about your museum.
5 years before the majors started playing night games, J.L. Wilkinson, who owned the Kansas City Monarchs, introduced that portable generated light tower system so that they could play night games. You know, he wasn't necessarily looking to be innovative. He was looking for survival.
Right.
Because Negro League games then were primarily held on Sundays because the majors didn't play on Sundays. So the Negro Leagues would rent the ballpark, play that Sunday doubleheader. Everybody left church. Well, he was looking for a way to get the working class fan into the ballpark. Night baseball became the answer. Night baseball became bigger than Sunday games. Yeah. But that was 5 years before they played that game in Cincinnati between the Cincinnati Reds and Philadelphia Phillies.
Every time I get a chance to go to the museum, I learn something different.
It's a lot to learn.
Tell us about Jazz and Jackie coming up.
Oh man, I tell you what, if you got a chance to come join us tonight, 7 p.m. You saw Jeanette do the national anthem today.
Yeah.
Jeanette Harris, a chart-topping smooth jazz saxophonist, and flautist Althea Renee will join us for a very soulful jazz salute to Jackie Robinson, celebrating his Kansas City roots. You know, we've talked a lot about the fact that his professional baseball roots began here in Kansas City. Baseball has done a wonderful job of celebrating Jackie, but they talk about Jackie as a Brooklyn Dodger. Rarely do they talk about his Negro League roots, and it was our city and the Negro Leagues to give really the world one of the greatest heroes ever in Jackie Robinson.
That's 6 strikeouts already for Jacob Junis, all on his slider. So here it is, Jazz and Jackie tonight at the Gem, featuring the Queens of Soul Jazz. Why would you not want to go see the Queens of Soul Jazz?
Well, you know, if you one of those that don't like to tap your feet and don't want to get up and dance, you probably want to stay at home tonight. But if you like to jam and get down, come on and join us, because this is going to be the most soulful celebration of Jackie ever. But it's still done in that jazz genre. And Jackie, the year that he was here, fell in love with everything that Kansas City is known for: baseball, barbecue, and jazz.
Lifted to left field, and John Jay is fighting the sun, but he makes a play. We'll chat more with Bob Kendrick as Junis gets around 2 hits in the 3rd inning. For the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. His leadership has been instrumental in the growth and vitality of the museum. The Vice President of Programming for the National Cable Television Cooperative, Stewart has also been a big brother with Big Brothers Big Sisters, and has worked with the Education Incorporated Challenge program. So perfect man to sit in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at today's game. As Alcides Escobar, did he go? He did. So 0-1 against Matthew Boyd, and we're joined by one of the great ambassadors of our city, Bob Kendrick, president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. And we were chatting about Buck. It's hard not to think about Buck in Kansas City.
Absolutely.
On a day like today. And I read years ago Joe Posnanski's great book about Buck O'Neil and his life and his passion for the Negro Leagues. And Goodrum spins and Hicks applies the tag, so Escobar is out, number 1. And one of the saddest days in Kansas City from a sports perspective since I've been here was when we found out, when we were just stunned to find out that Buck O'Neil had not been inducted with a lot of other members, front office players, whatever, with the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum into Cooperstown. And his great quote, you know, just talking about how far we've come, looking at the big picture, not looking at that day. You broke the news to him that he had not been voted into the Hall of Fame.
It was, Ryan, one of the most disappointing days for me, personally and professionally. But it was also one of the most inspired days I think I've ever. So to see something go from one spectrum to the other, just because of the way that Buck handled the disappointment of not getting in. We were all devastated. And here was Buck O'Neil stepping to the podium, basically imploring all of us not to be angry, not to be not to have a disparaging word to say about anyone who had anything to do with that induction. And it was so inspiring. You know, now here we are 12 years later. I'm still angry. You know, I'm trying, I swear, y'all, I'm trying to be more Buck-like. I ain't there yet. I'm a work in progress, Hud. But, you know, because we know he deserved to be there. But as he always did, he seemed to bring joy out of despair throughout his life. And if you haven't read The Soul of Baseball, A Road Trip Through Buck O'Neil's America, it should be in required reading in every high school across this country, because you learn a lot about yourself. And what Buck taught us that day was a tremendously valuable lesson on how to handle disappointment.
Humility.
Humility. Humility.
Nothing better.
And then to go to Cooperstown, speak on behalf of 17 other Negro Leaguers, all of them dead. All of them did. They didn't have a voice. I think it was one of the most selfless acts in American sports history. And a little over 2 months later, we lost old Buck at age 94, a month shy of his 95th birthday.
Wow. To me, that, and I'm still angry like you are too. And I think, no, I mean that. I think a lot of Kansas Cityans, you know, thought about Cooperstown a little differently, because if you don't put Buck O'Neil in, I mean, that's like having George Washington speak about the United States, but saying, but you don't get your own presidential library.
And Ryan, this was not only Kansas City, it was baseball fans around the world who were just, and it wasn't disappointment, it was outrage.
Right.
Yeah, and so, you know, I tell people all the time, Buck O'Neil died knowing he was loved. And sometimes that doesn't happen to some of us. We don't always know that, you know, but there was a nation of people who expressed their outpour of love for Buck. And you know, he took that with him to his grave.
That's the second time that Whit Merrifield has gotten a ball by Nico Goodrum over at third base, so he's on with 2 out.
Yeah, we handed Whit that Cool Papa Bell award today. He's playing like Cool Papa Bell.
Now, we should say, you know, you can't control certain people voting a certain way, but I think the Hall of Fame doing its best to try and clean up an ugly situation. There's an award now named after Buck and a beautiful statue at Cooperstown.
He's the only baseball player to have a life-size statue inside the Hall of Fame. So while we were all disappointed, and kudos to the Hall of Fame, because they didn't have to do anything.
Right.
They could have let this thing die, and it would have eventually died, and the anger would have, you know, kind of squelched at some point in time. But they came back and not only did something, it wasn't token in nature, it was substantial. You might even argue just as substantial, because quite frankly, Ryan, you get the plaque, it's on the wall, as one of however many plaques are there, and then you're forgotten about it. Every 3 years, they honor someone with the Buck O'Neil Award. You cannot forget Buck O'Neil. And as long as they remember Buck O'Neil, you got to remember Buck O'Neil's museum. So in some ways, it may have been even better. And that's that joy out of despair kind of thing. And you know, we all wanted to high five and hug and do those things that we all were hoping to do if he had gotten in. And he didn't really want it as much for him as he wanted it for his museum, because it was going to help propel his museum into perpetuity. You know, but in some ways, it worked out the way that it was supposed to work out. And you know, we continue to celebrate the inspiration of Buck, and Cool Papa Bell just did it again.
Well, he must be inspired, Bob, because he got an award from the museum before the game today,
I
right?
handed him the Monarch Award as our Royals Player of the Year, and the James Thomas Cool Papa Bell Award for leading the American League in stolen bases with, I think, 34. Now, I'll tell you now, Cool Papa Bell probably stole 34 in about 5 games. But the game has changed a little bit now, so, you know, they don't run as much. But, you know, I was so honored to be able to hand over the wonderful Cool Papa Bell Award to Whit Merrifield.
I can't wait to talk to Whitley tomorrow and ask him how he feels about receiving that award. I'm envious as heck. I would have loved to have got that. And Cool Papa Bell, he's my favorite all time. But Whitley, I got to be thrilled to get that award.
He was genuinely excited. I saw him in spring training, and I told him, I got a chance to speak to the group in spring training, and I said, you know, you're winning the Cool Papa Bell Award, and he was blown away. You know, I don't think he realized that we give that award every year to the American and National League leaders in stolen bases. Hopefully later this year I'll make it over to Seattle to hand the award over to Dee Gordon, who, when he came to the museum, told me that his first visit to the museum in 2015 when he was with the Dodgers, he fell in love with Cool Papa Bell. Every Sunday he wears his pants legs up high in honor of Cool Papa Bell.
That's great.
I'm not surprised. He's got Kansas City roots.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
So happy for the 18th and Vine. I mean, first with you and getting that museum going, and then the Jazz Museum and the Gem, and now the Urban Youth Academy.
Urban Youth Academy, man, it's absolutely beautiful. It has changed the landscape of 18th and Vine, and how, I mean, it's just, it just fills you with great pride that so many kids who would not have the means to play our sport will have an opportunity to fall in love with the great game of baseball. But as I say all the time, not only fall in love with this game, be nurtured in this game, and then dream about all the possibilities that come with this great sport. And so, yeah, we hope if it happens, we get a future major leaguer out of this. That's great. But we want our kids also dreaming about being owners, being managers, coaches, traveling secretaries, team physicians, fulfilling all of those roles that they feel so beautifully in the Negro Leagues that didn't just naturally transition over into Major League Baseball.
That was perfect. I was just going to ask you if they can get a Major League player, that'd be a bonus. But look, the game of baseball teaches life lessons, and you know that, Bob. Unbelievable job. I can't wait to see the future of that of your whole area, that part of town right there, continue to grow and nurture young people.
Well, I tell you what, man, 18th and Vine is experiencing a renaissance. It is about to explode, and I couldn't be more excited about it. You know, the Negro League Museum anchored there when there was nothing else at 18th and Vine, with the goal of trying to help resurrect it and to see it start to really fulfill its great potential, and in many respects return it back to what it used to be back in the day when 18th and Vine was jumping. Yeah, it was the place to be.
And in the country, not just Kansas City.
I think the closest thing that you could compare 18th and Vine to, Ryan, would have been Harlem during the Renaissance.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was it. You know, a jazz musician could get a gig here when they couldn't get a gig anywhere else.
Right.
So the music was alive, and Buck said if you hadn't seen a relative of yours, come on down to 18th Vine on a Saturday night. They got to walk by there. Got to walk by there.
Quickly, June 25th, and that's when we're going to do Jackie Robinson Day here, because the game was rained out, and a statue being unveiled at the museum, correct, of Jackie?
Well, you know, we've got the whole thing that we're doing with Jackie, and the whole barrier breaking piece of this thing that we're doing, celebrating not only Jackie, but all of those guys who broke the color barrier with their respective teams. Okay. And that's a story that sometimes get overlooked. We focus on Jackie, and rightfully so. He was the first. And you know how we are as a society. We remember the first guy. We never remember the second guy. Right. Larry Doby didn't get a whole lot of love, and Larry Doby went through just as much. Some might argue even more. But the guys who subsequently broke their color barrier, you know, every team didn't have a black player until 1959. And when Boston signed Pumpsie Green. So if you're number 2 until Pumpsie Green in 59, right, you ain't getting no love. Right. And so we're going to give them some love and chronicle their stories as well as part of a new exhibit that we're opening called Barrier Breakers. And then, of course, I'm super excited about Jackie's daughter, Sharon, coming in June 9th for our Hall of Game ceremonies, and she's going to receive the Jackie Robinson Lifetime Achievement Award. It is going to be a highly emotionally charged night when we hand over this award that bears her father, legendary father, to her. She's carved out her own path. You know, she's been a tremendous educator. She's been a philanthropist, a humanitarian in the mode of her father. Can you imagine the shadow that must loom?
Look at Whit Merrifield. I mean, as you are talking, I mean, he's just zipping around the bases like he's listening to you for inspiration.
The reincarnation of cool Papa Bell. Now, if he steals home, I'm
Man, you could stay here the rest of the game, Bob, if he steals home.
Well, now Soler takes off.
Okay, now this has got to be a little bit nerve-rattling for the pitcher, Boyd. Okay, it's messed him up now. He's got Moose. He does have 2 strikes, 3-2 count. Now first base is open. Okay, they're taking it if you're going to give it to him. Now, is he going to try to pitch to Moose here, or is he going to take his chances with Salvi on deck? Probably better off trying to get Moose here, Bob, because Salvi's a right-handed hitter, could hit a slam off him.
Absolutely.
Deep center field, carrying and off the wall. So Mike Moustakas with 2 outs drives at Merrifield and Soler, and the Royals lead 3-0.
Now that is vintage Monarchs baseball. They are channeling their inner Monarchs today. I would love to see them play that way all the time. You know, it's a different style of play. It's exciting and it's aggressive and daring, and that was the Negro Leagues. That's the way they played the game, which is why so many fans flocked to those games, and which is why Buck O'Neil said you couldn't go to the concession stand because you might miss something you ain't never seen before.
Rhino. Oh, that's great. Bob, you've been so good. Watch it, watch it, watch it. Oh!
That's going to drop.
We're not done. Yeah, that's sun.
If you're wondering, or were wondering, whether Buck's spirit was here at some point today, wonder no longer.
Thank you, Buck. Thank you, Buck.
Oh, yay!
All right, it's never over till it's over.
I remember we were playing golf, and a guy just kind of hit one. He kind of popped it up in the air, and Buck said, "Run it out. He might drop it."
Because the time you don't run it out, you're embarrassed yourself if he drops it. So, way to go, Bob.
Oh, man, what an inning. This all started with 2 outs and nobody on.
You know, I was teasing the guys when I was down on the field and said, you know when you put those Monarch uniforms on, you got to play like a Monarch.
And by the way, I don't know if we've ever seen 2 of the same Monarch uniforms over the years. I mean, they had a pretty extensive wardrobe.
And they were one of the few teams, you know, Negro Leagues or Major Leagues, that consistently had so many different uniforms. J.L. Wilkinson had them looking good.
You're the best, Bob.
Guys, thank you so much.
Great to see you. So happy for you in the museum.
Absolutely. And we appreciate everything.
Our show, Bob. Way to pump it up, man. You made it better.
And happy birthday, Willie Mays.
Yeah. Say hey.
Strongest field competes in the 100th PGA Championship. Limited tickets remain for Monday's opening day through Thursday's opening round. PGAchampionship.com for full information. John Hicks hits it into his own bullpen. So right after the Royals take a 4-0 lead, John Hicks hits his 3rd of the year. And now it is 4-1.
There's one right down the middle. He just took a nice easy trot out of the box. Knew exactly how hard he hit it.
That's been the one way to get to Jacob Junis. His opponent's batting average is under 200. His whip, walks and hits per innings pitched, is under 1. So if you can get a mistake and hit it out of the ballpark, that's one way to score against him. Jacob has given up 15 runs this year. 12 have come on home runs. And oftentimes, as he comes back with a strikeout, that is his 7th. Oftentimes, that's the only way you get to a good pitcher, a way to pile up some runs, is if you get lucky and hit a home run, or at least get a mistake, lucky enough to get a mistake and hit a home run.
Yeah. he got it just right. You got to give the hitter some credit. You got to be able to hit that ball that's in the middle of the plate and then not miss it. Hicks didn't.
Now Goodrum hits it into right center field. And Soler is there to make the play. So Goodrum is 0 for 2. And that'll bring up Dixon Machado. 7 strikeouts so far for Junis. 6 with his slider. And almost 80% of his career strikeouts have been with his slider. And he's had a good one today. That one's way outside to Machado. He flied out to right field in the 2nd inning.
It's always a great day whenever we can have Bob Kendrick on. But today of all days, it's you know, those salutes to the Negro Leagues and the dress to the nines, and there's many people here in the stands all get it, and a lot of them dressed up, but special to hear his stories and to talk about the museum, how great it's going.
So Hicks homers, but Junis gets the next 3. To the bottom of the 4th, the Royals lead 4-1. Youngest as far as age and fastest as far as appearances to 300 saves, as he got one against the Texas Rangers last night. So congratulations to Kimbrel, who blew a save against the Royals on Tuesday in Boston.
That's an awesome shot right there. Look at them. They got the whole family there.
John Jay, Abraham Almonte, and Alcides Escobar coming up. 1-1 on John Jay. Whole family is dressed to the nines, even the little ones.
That is so cool.
Another foul ball, still 1 ball, 2 strikes. If the Royals hit a triple in today's game, the Kansas City Honda dealers will make a $1,000 donation to the KC Urban Youth Academy. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Royals got a run in the 1st inning on a sac fly by Mike Moustakas, and then 3 in the 3rd. Moustakas hit a 2-run double, and then Salvador Perez had an RBI single on a ball that was lost in the sun. Machado throws out John Jay, and there's 1 down. Whit Merrifield has 3 stolen bases today. Zipping around the bases while we were chatting with Bob Kendrick, and he was describing the Negro League style of play. Right center field, a long run for Martin, and coming over from right is Reyes. Now Monte is 0 for 2.
Fans, don't forget, you can snag vintage inspired memorabilia from today's game. That's right, you can now bid on the game used and autographed uniforms, helmets that both teams are wearing. All proceeds benefit the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. Please, folks, place your bid. Visit Royals.com/NLBM and help support.
Escobar grounded out to third in the third inning. Then Drew Butera flied to center, so there are 2 outs and nobody on. And then the Royals went on to score 3. Hanging breaking ball, and Escobar hits it into left center field. And now the Royals will try and rally again after 2 outs and nobody on.
Tried to backdoor breaking ball. Esky, he waited and waited as long as he could, and he was able to barrel it. Good swing. Remember in the open we talked about how much the left side of the infield is going to be used, and there's a good example. Breaking ball coming in, it plays into the right-handed hitter swing.
That slider catches the inside edge. Butera flied to center field in the third. And that's backing out of play. No balls and 2 strikes. Our Toyota League leaders. 6 runs of support coming into today. So the Tigers have 1 run. They've scored 7 runs in his 6 starts. No balls, 2 strikes. Every team every year has a bad luck dude. And there's no rhyme or reason for it. But that label of can't score any runs for him seems to fall on somebody every season. Ian Kennedy has experienced some of that this year and even part of last year. Butera lines out to Machado at second base, so this time Boyd is able to close the door on the Royals with 2 outs. 4-1 KC.
To it, got a lot of lateral movement, so those combinations pretty lethal, and we're seeing some outstanding numbers from Jacob today.
Here's the Pizza Ranch line for Jacob Junis. Just 1 run, 4 hits in his 4 innings with those 7 strikeouts. Alcides Escobar is late to take the field. Here he comes. Maybe he has something in his eye. Yeah, so he's telling Mike Moustakas, I had something in my eye. It'll be Grayson Grainer, Victor Reyes, and Leonis Martin in the 5th inning. Grayson Grainer is making his big league debut today, and he's already got his first big league hit when he singled to left field against Junis in the 3rd inning, and now he sees a Junis slider, and it's 0-2.
6'6". That's amazing, this young man's size. Big guy for a catcher.
Moustakas throws on the run, and a strike over to Cuthbert. 1 down. You ever talked slider grip with Jacob Junis before, Monty?
No, I haven't. I've talked to him a little bit about his mix of pitches, and he started working this spring and trying to really deliberately throw more curveballs, because oftentimes I found, at least personally, throwing curveballs to lefties was a more effective pitch than the slider would be, because the curveball really kind of falls off the table. But he really has so much confidence. He said, I can throw that slider anytime, any count, any hitter, left-hander, right-hander, and we're seeing a great demonstration of that today. He's throwing it to both sides of the plate. He can backdoor it. He can have the one that really kind of evaporates, just kind of goes down and away. Right-handers have literally no chance against that.
Oh, absolutely none. Located there especially. Only chance they got is if it's in the middle of the plate. And even then, because he has downward action, not lateral break, his downward movement, hitter can swing over the top of it.
Well, here's the thing I've noticed about Jacob Junis. He's thrown some sliders that even they may not be ones that when you see the replay, they look like they're a brilliant slider. They're not a great slider, but he has some kind of deception, because guys take that pitch and literally almost freezes them, locks them up. And, how do we talk about the cement mixer? I mean, he's thrown at times during the course of the year when he doesn't maybe have his really good one. He's thrown some cement mixer sliders that he gets away with because of deception.
Almonte is coming up in center field.
Oh,
and
no.
I don't know if he ever saw that ball. It's a double for Martin. He never, to me, looked like he saw that ball. His instincts took him to the right area.
Okay, so you see Soler kind of peeling off thinking it's a routine out, but he saw it all the way until the last 10, 20 feet. And Soler now will go back into the dugout. They'll talk and say, look, I have a better angle on that. I'll take it next time.
A little bit of a tough break there for Jacob Junis and Abraham Almonte. Now here's an opportunity for Jacob Junis to pick him up.
He does not have sunglasses on, so maybe the sun earlier in the game was not an issue for him, and that will happen. I mean, it's a sun field for part of the stadium. Early 3 innings in the game, and then it becomes more of a sun field in a different part of the stadium.
You're being kind, Rhino. He needs to have glasses.
Well, I'm not saying he shouldn't have glasses on, but I'm saying he could have easily taken the field in the first few innings and looked up and thought, well, the sun's not going to be an issue for me right now.
Yeah. Well, if this run scores, it'll be an issue, because that's what you can't have. You can't do that for your pitcher. That's the whole idea. That's a third out. Now, we've seen over the years, remember Lorenzo Cain out there? Remember, we'd see him almost go to his knees the minute the ball was hit. I mean, sun is an issue in this ballpark.
Yeah, and I've seen games here and other places too, where an outfielder in the middle of the inning, in like the 4th or 5th inning, realize, oh man, sun's a problem now, and they'll call timeout and come, they'll get sunglasses because
gotta have them.
The sun shifts during the game, and it may not be a problem now, but it might be later.
If you have your glasses and you miss one in the sun, it's okay. But if you don't, they question you. I got chewed out in a big way for dropping a ball in the sun. Now I didn't have my glasses on. I never made that mistake again. Never.
Well, just look at the bill of his cap. It's right below his chin. So that would tell me that the sun is directly behind home plate right now. So you think he saw it until the very last moment. When that ball was hit, he just did not look comfortable to me as soon as that ball was hit.
Like I said, we saw Lorenzo Cain on contact go to his knees because he never saw it. So let's watch his body language. This tells me he's got it. Tells Soler. Watch Soler. He's going to go in. Soler's starting to run in because he looks like he has it. Now he doesn't. So if he would have put his hands out from the very beginning, Soler would have came over and made the play. So his body language told him that he had it. Tough out right here, Victor. He's going to battle you. Talked about it earlier, his first at bat in the top 3 and toughest to strike out in the league. He'll foul him off until he gets his pitch.
Well, that's the whole thing about guys like Victor Martinez, those professional hitters. They find ways to make you work, look for that one mistake, and then they hurt you.
Just got a piece of it. Hud was telling you when Martinez came up in the first inning how hard he is to strike out. He has now gone 23 consecutive plate appearances without a strikeout. That's one of the longest active streaks in the major leagues. So he's due.
Hey, he's got the slider to do it. Maybe he goes to the rarely used changeup. Got to find a way to get him. Pick up Almonte.
This is a very positive statistic for any pitcher, in particular a young pitcher. Because, Monty, I've heard a lot of young pitchers say when they get to the big leagues, one of the first things they notice is how hard it is to get the third strike and the third out.
Yeah, and we saw an example. He should have had the third out already. Now he's looking to get the third strike.
Yeah, we don't have a stat for getting 4 outs at the major league level. But I year after year, when I talk to young pitchers and say, you know, what do you notice? I mean, obviously the hitters are much better at this level, so you expect that, the talent level. But what's one thing that you notice? And they're like, man, it just seems like the hitters are never defensive with 2 strikes like they are in the minor leagues. Three balls, 2 strikes. John Hicks is on deck.
So you've thrown him everything but the kitchen sink, Monty. What are you going to throw him 3 and 2 right here?
I believe I would throw a slider. I think Jacob Junis will throw a slider right here. He'll throw it on that back foot, try to get him to fish.
So it's not going to be a middle of the plate slider.
I don't believe it will be.
You hope not, because he'll be on. He's in swing mode.
The runners go, and there it is. That away, Monty.
Monty got him to strike out. Way to go, bud.
8 strikeouts for Junis. He's given up 1 run in 5 innings. did not cost the Royals any runs. It did cost Jacob Junis another 13 pitches, but he got a big strikeout against Victor Martinez with 2 on and 2 out. So Abe is breathing a little easier in the Royals dugout. Whit Merrifield is 2 for 2. He's gotten 2 ground balls by the third baseman Goodrum. He has scored twice and he has 3 stolen bases already. And now he goes down and strokes it to left field. Jones is there. And there's 1 down. Well, you can make your baseball dreams a reality at Royals Fantasy Camp. You'll be guided by Royals legends as you suit up in your Royals uniform, join a team, get instruction from an all-star lineup of coaches, and play several games at the Surprise Spring Training Facility. 1 week you'll never forget. It is January 28th through February 1st. And you can secure your spot online beginning tomorrow at 10 a.m. by logging in at royals.com/fantasycamp. And right now Joel is standing by with a regular member of Royals Fantasy Camp, Hall of Famer Dennis Leonard.
And a regular out here at Kauffman Stadium when he's not busy fishing. Dennis Leonard, saw him throw some batting practice the other day at school day at the K. But this I know is special. How about this group up here? It's not just 1 year. I mean, all the people from over the years that have built these friendships.
Oh, definitely. I think it's kind of similar to when we played. You know, you might not see everybody throughout the year, but if you get to see each other, you know, once or twice a year, it brings back a lot of memories. And it's quite a tribute to what we do down there and out in Arizona. I mean, we have guys here from New Mexico and, you know, Omaha and every place else that came in just to get together for this little reunion.
Yeah, because we've got Royals fans really all over the world, so this is that chance. And what about it? I know my experience there when I did it in 08 with you guys, that the baseball's great. Well, it might not necessarily be good, but you know what I mean. But just the hanging out and the stories, the Brett stories, the Big John stories and all those.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's not all about the baseball. You know, there's a lot of guys, and obviously with the age limit, most of these guys watched us play when we were playing in the 70s and early 80s. So for them to come down and we get a chance to meet a fan, you know, that said, oh man, I used to like to watch you pitch, or somebody, you know, hit or field or whatever. You know, it's really special, not only to them, but believe it or not, it's pretty special to all of us too, because it gives a lot of us a chance to get back in the locker room and tell old stories also.
How's your arm feeling?
Good. I think I have a BP here at the stadium on Thursday, so it better be okay for a little while.
And otherwise, a lot of fishing.
Well, I'm trying, but the weather hasn't cooperated, which hasn't cooperated really great for baseball this year either. But, you know, when it rains and snows and windy and cold and everything else, it's tight enough to get out. But I think we got a stretch where I'll be able to get out for a while.
All right, safe to say, guys, that no one at the major league level or the fantasy camp level is throwing complete games the way Dennis Leonard did. Different era and generation. Fantasy camp for next year goes on sale on Monday, guys.
All right, Joel, and Leo would have appreciated that ground ball double play to end the inning. And now at the end of 5, Royals lead 4-1. to hear from Dennis Leonard and Fantasy Camp. We'll get to that in a moment. First, our University of Kansas Health System injury report update and some significant injuries in our division. Miguel Cabrera went on the disabled list at the beginning of this series. Miguel Sano also has a hamstring problem. And then Yohan Moncada just went on the disabled list with a hamstring issue. If Miguel Sano is still out when the Royals face the Twins, I don't think anybody who cares about the Royals is going to be bothered by that at all.
Especially the pitching staff.
Man, boy, did he have a year against the Royals last year. And outside of our division, Clayton Kershaw has a left biceps issue. He was placed on the disabled list today. The only run for the Tigers today was a home run by John Hicks. That was leading off the 4th inning. Junis struck him out back in the 1st, and now here he is starting the 6th with Jones and Goodrum coming up. And now he hits it into right center field. Soler cuts it off, and Hicks is on to begin the 6th inning. So anyway, back to Fantasy Camp. Monty, you're a regular instructor.
Yeah, I think I've only missed one Fantasy Camp over the years, and we've had a lot of repeat offenders, I'll call them, guys who have been there every year. Byron Strom has been there every year. Fantasy Camp. We put him in our Fantasy Camp Hall of Fame this past winter.
And where is that Hall of Fame if you want to take a tour? And
it's in your mind.
Bragging points. Yeah, you know, seeing all the hamstring injuries remind me of the Fantasy Camp. Be careful, because they get that first hit in the outfield and they take off out of the box. They're so excited, like a kid in the backyard, and pop, there goes the hammy. Don't do it, because it'll ruin your whole experience.
Exactly. If you go to Fantasy Camp, do some work before you get there, but don't try to do too much when you get started.
Yeah, so come out of the box slowly. That's where we lose a lot of guys.
Sliders in for a strike to Jacoby Jones. He's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts today.
Yeah, real quick, the guys who go to Fantasy Camp have a tremendous time, a blast. Our instructors, our alums, we have a great time as well. But you know, I'll never forget one of the campers at the end of the week. We have like an awards banquet.
Chance for 2, and the Royals turn it.
So we have this awards banquet on the Friday night at the end of the camp. And we're just kind of walking around and meeting some of the wives who had been at Fantasy Camp, you know, during that week with their husbands. And one of the campers said, you know, I have to tell you guys, this was the greatest week of my entire life. And the next thing you know, the wife elbows him in the stomach, say, well, how about our honeymoon? You know, and he had such a great time, he forgot about his honeymoon because Fantasy Camp was such a blast.
January 28th through February 1st. Cuthbert backhands. He'll take it himself. 8 pitches, and the Tigers are down against Junis in the 6th. Great day to be at the ballpark with the family. And if you're not able to watch the Royals in person or on TV, you can always stream games on your mobile device live. Just download the Fox Sports Go app, log in, and stream the Royals. It's presented by T-Mobile. "4-1 Royals to the bottom of the 6th. Oh, that's John Wald's family. Just found that out afterwards. Congratulations, John. The Mad Hatter. We never know what hat John's going to show up in every day. Sometimes it's a Milwaukee Bucks hat. He had a Public Enemy hat on the other day. And today it's March Madness in May. Our Sonic Slam Inning contestant is Pam Reitmeyer from Kansas City, Missouri. Salvi's down on strikes on a breaking ball. And that is the 3rd strikeout for Matthew Boyd. 1 down in the 6th inning. Monty, seems to be a theme now in baseball where we see more and more pitchers pitching exclusively out of the stretch. And I'm talking about starting pitchers. And then I guess this is called a windup, what Boyd is doing right now. But just that one little back step with his front leg. And it seems the trend today is simplified mechanics.
Yeah, and when you really kind of talk about mechanics and pitching, it's a lot of times people delineate between the stretch and the windup. See out number 2 there. But you really get to the same point of balance. You got to get to a balance point right there, and then you're going to transfer your weight. You're going to shift your momentum toward home plate. And to do it from the stretch versus a windup essentially is you get to the same point, but from a windup, more things could go wrong. That's why you're seeing guys simplify. That's why you're seeing guys really kind of get to that modified windup or modified stretch, whatever you want to call it.
Is there a difference in velocity? Can you increase your velocity with the windup?
A lot of guys think you can. Hutton, I think I told you about this.
I love it. I want you to tell the people quickly.
I had a pitching coach in the minor leagues that had me throw from the stretch, from the windup, and it was exactly the same. 88, 89 miles an hour. And then he said, let's see you go from the balance point. So in other words, I got to that flamingo position. Just I froze it right there. And then I generated my momentum home and I threw 88 and 90 miles an hour. And it was exactly the same velocity, but just a different way to get there.
Thank you, Bonnie. That was outstanding. We appreciate your analysis and the runs you brought us, Bonnie. Thank you.
Glad to do it.
4-1 Royals, the end of 6.
Or more tickets for a single game and receive a 20% discount. That's right, group tickets are available for all home games, and groups of 20 or more can save big. Suites and party areas are also available on a nightly basis. So plan your company event or Get together with friends or coworkers today. Call 816-504-4040 or email groupsales@royals.com to start planning your next big event. Nice swing.
Dixon Machado is 1 for 3. Junis is still at only 81 pitches. All right, our sprint trivia question. Name the 5 former MVPs to play their last major league game in a Royals uniform. 5 former MVPs that played their last major league game in a Royals uniform. Harmon Killebrew.
Ding, 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 ding.
That's number 1.
Okay. How about? Okay, this is just conversation between you and I. It's not a guess.
Okay.
But Vida Blue is not a Hall of Famer, is he?
There's Kirk Gibson, who played with the Royals.
Okay.
Yeah, not a Hall of Famer, just an MVP.
Oh, okay.
But Vida Blue did play for the Royals. I was thinking about Vida Blue.
Okay, how about? MVPs.
Two and one on Grayson Grainer, making his big league debut, a 6'6" catcher, and he got his first big league hit against Junis in the 3rd inning. He is also grounded out to 3rd. Two balls, 2 strikes.
All right, George Brett. That's always my one guess that wins every time. So we need 3 more.
Correct.
Harmon Killebrew, good. Yeah, that's a good guess.
Yeah, that's a.
Is that trick question?
No, it's not a trick question, but it's easy to associate him with the Minnesota Twins for his entire career. But he did finish up with the Royals just 1 year. I believe it was 1975. Grayson Grainer, deep to left field. John Jay has just enough room. So Grainer almost got his first big league home run.
Man, to get your first hit and first homer in the same game, that put him in select company. But not going to happen. Mo Lottery says, nope, it's right to the warning track, and he might go back to the dugout being a rookie, and a couple of vets might say, warning track power. But he don't look like he's lacking any power. He's a big kid. He looks like he's going to be a pretty good hitter. I mean, the Tigers already, their 2 catchers, they've thrown out 8 of 23 base stealers, 35%. That's best in the American League, 4th best in Major League Baseball. Man, they had no catching issues there, here in Detroit. So that kid feels pretty good. He's getting an opportunity.
Victor Reyes has struck out, and he is lined out to left field. John Jay fighting the sun, makes the play inside the line. And there are 2 down. Was Orlando Cepeda ever an MVP? That's another guy you don't associate with the Royals, but he was with the Royals 1 year. Gaylord Perry was a Royal.
I'm counting on you to carry it, because I can
rattle off some names, but as far as if they ended their career,
the reason it's tough is because lots of guys that hang on at the end of their career will sign with any team that'll let them, pay them, and that makes it tough, because there's probably a few of those and we don't really remember them. So George Brett might be my best contribution.
All right, how about Orlando Cepeda? That's correct.
Hey, there you go,
Right, there's
partner.
3.
Ding, 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 ding. All right. Counting on you. It's an interesting question. I'll be waiting for the last 2 answers that you give us, partner. Come on, counting on you.
Tempted to say Vita Blue.
Junis would love to roll up a double play here, but there's 2 outs, so he doesn't need to. How about
a triple play? That's the rule change I would make. That if he rolled up a double play right here, then in the 8th inning he only would need to get 2 outs.
I saw 1 on the board up there, but it was the wrong category. There you go.
Jay makes the play.
All right.
No chance to double up Machado. And the inning is over.
Way to go, Jake.
Hold true moments. That's in the 1st inning. Mike Moustakas drove in 1 with a sacrifice fly, and then 2 with a double in the 3rd. Then Salvador Perez hit one up into the sun, and that dropped in left field, scoring Moustakas. The Royals had a 4-0 lead. John Hicks has hit a solo home run for Detroit. And here we are at 4-1 in the bottom of the 7th, and our annual salute to the Negro Leagues. And during the 7th inning stretch, they had a video recording of Buck O'Neil singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," which goes back to the Ken Burns baseball documentary. And Buck was a major player in that documentary in recounting the Negro Leagues, and I think many would agree that there was a brand new awareness and attention toward the Negro Leagues after Ken Burns used Buck O'Neil. Buck had always been a celebrity here in Kansas City, but that made him a nationwide celebrity.
I'll never forget the time I got to meet him down there by the batting cage when I was still playing. That was a special moment. I wish someone would have had a camera, or you know, you don't always have a camera during batting practice around at your beck and call, and miss so many moments, you know. But that would have been one photo I'd have loved to have.
Squirted off the end of the bat, little indecision, and Boyd grabs the ball out of the air with his bare hand and gets to the bag in front of Almonte.
Well, John Hicks hadn't played a whole lot of first base. Now here's a squibber. He hesitates a minute. He wasn't sure who was going to pick it up, but then he gets it just in time to Boyd, showing some athleticism there as he's able to outrun Almonte to get to the base. Good feed by Hicks. Once he decided he was going to go get it, and then was able to barehand it nicely.
Boyd has thrown 91 pitches in 6 1/3 innings, and they are working in the Tiger bullpen. Biggest issue for Boyd today has been his biggest issue all year, and that is a lack of run support. Tigers have now scored 7 runs in his 6 starts this year. 1-1 on Escobar. That is Buck Farmer warming up in the Tiger bullpen. Inside edge again. Two and two on Escobar. Any more guesses on our trivia question?
It's all yours, bud. Now, if I wouldn't get charged for strikes like we used to do in the old days, I could just give you my thoughts and my names. Of course, that keeps me from
we don't have any strikes yet.
From getting laughed at, though. You know, because you guys used to laugh at me when I would throw my numbers or my names out there, but now I'm kind of guarded a little bit.
Warren Cromartie did not win MVP.
No, I'd like to guess him.
All right, well, let's use some strikes.
Okay,
Vida Blue.
But Vida Blue.
Incorrect.
Is Vida Blue a Hall of Famer?
No, it's just have to be an MVP, Hud.
What am I thinking that? So no wonder my thought process is off today. It's not working right.
Yeah.
Okay, MVPs, not Hall of Famers.
He also was not president of the United States.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, he's never walked in space, as far as we know.
Oh, that's a good pitch by Boyd. All right, folks, we all know Friday nights are best spent at the Cave. With Buck Night and summer fireworks, come out every Friday and enjoy the home game during the summer. And enjoy hot dogs and peanuts for just $1. Stay after the game for a fireworks spectacular right from your seats. Tickets available now at Royals.com. Got a little news for you. My buddy, who's the best statistician in the world, just told me that Warren Cromartie did end his career in a Royals uniform. Holtzy.
But he was never MVP.
No, he wasn't.
Or in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, but that's okay. We're getting there.
That away, Holtzy.
Holtzy, way to pick me up.
I'm trying to think of someone more recent. Reggie Sanders ever win MVP?
No, I don't think so.
I didn't think so. Gaylord Perry.
Is that your guess?
Incorrect.
Okay, we got one more guess.
One left. Matthew Boyd has strung together 4 straight scoreless innings after the Royals led early.
Joel Goldberg, Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery, and we said this the other night, let's say it again, 2 words, pitcher's duel.
Yeah, really kind of what we expected going back to April. These guys matched up with Boyd and Junis. It was a 1-0 game, 2 hours and 17 minutes. This game's moved along pretty good today. I'm not jinxing it either.
No jinxing. Monty doesn't do that. We will talk about it, hear from Ned Yost, and get you ready for the Baltimore series coming up on Boulevard Royals Live. HUD, guest Lance Johnson.
One dog.
One dog.
One dog, Monty, you got it. But I'm not going to waste that as a guess because even though I love Lance Johnson, I don't think he was ever an MVP. Ooh, watch out. How many do we have?
Jacob Junis with 92 pitches has given up 1 run, 7 hits in his 7 innings. It'll be Iglesias, Martinez, and Hicks. Backing out of play, 2 balls, 2 strikes. We've been getting some hints,
which is rare,
and we're not asking for.
No, but you know
we're getting hints.
We do have
right?
We do have a.
If a pitcher is tipping his pitches, that's not cheating, right? Right? I mean, if he's telling me,
no, that's
so
just
if we
an
get
inside
hints
deal.
and we're not asking for them. So go ahead, HUD.
All right. Tejada, remember Tejada was an MVP for Oakland, and he came here to Kansas City, and he finished his career. Ding, 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 ding. Thank you. We got 1 more, and we have 1 strike left. 2 more? Wow.
I've gotten some text messages from well-meaning friends who want me to say Juan Gonzalez, but he actually, I think, played 1 game with the Indians after being here with the Royals.
Okay, we need 1 more player, and we have 1 strike left.
Iglesias is on to begin the 8th inning. And now Ned Yost, after 98 pitches, figures that's enough from Junis, who has struck out 8. And now he can let his guard down with a big smile, and now the crowd will show its appreciation as Tim Hill is a Chevy call to the bullpen. Two innings, and he has allowed 3 runs. He's still responsible for Iglesias at first base, who just singled to center field, and now Tim Hill comes on with Victor Martinez coming up.
Okay, there he is, young man. ERA just climbing just a bit his last few outings, but Strike one's important for him, and also pitching inside to righties can be another key for him. Get in there.
Moustakas will play it to first. He had a sure out there. And especially with a 3-run lead, the Royals at this point need outs. And now John Hicks is coming up. All right, our last gasp here, Hud. 5 former MVPs, not Hall of Famers, to play their last big league game in a Royals uniform. We have Harmon Killebrew, George Brett, Orlando Cepeda, and Miguel Tejada. And we'll continue to think on that. Brad Keller is a Chevy call to the bullpen. Brad Keller comes on with a runner at second base and 1 out in the 8th inning. He has made 14 appearances, including yesterday, pitched a scoreless 8th inning. Working around a 2-out hit by Jose Iglesias. And now he's trying to work around Iglesias here, who's the runner at second base. And the pitch is fouled away by John Hicks. He has accounted for the only Tigers run with a home run to left field in the 1st inning. He also has a single.
Keller, slider, try to get him away. Fastball, keep her down, got a little sink to it. They got away with 193. Now the home run that Hicks hit off Junis was 91 right in the middle, so be careful in that spot. Good fastball, mid-90s, slider change. 6'5", 230 is Brad Keller. Big young man. He put a little bit of extra velo on that one.
All right, we're being told we got to come up with our.
Well, we've had a lot of time today.
Yeah.
I think you've done good. Tough question.
You want to ask for a hint? We get a half point.
I did. They already gave me a hint for Tejada.
That's into right center field. So Iglesias will come around to score. John Hicks has driven in both Tiger runs, and that brings the tying run to the plate.
Okay, nicely done. Hicks is locked in, but this is how you hit a breaking ball to the opposite field. You wait and just go with it. See his hands rolled over after contact was made. He's able to keep his hands in the middle and keep them inside of the ball. A great swing.
And now it's Keller and Jacoby Jones, who had a frustrating day against Jacob Junis. Junis struck him out twice and then got him to ground into a double play. Now, on one hand, Jones is just 1 for 15 in this series, but that one hit was a 2-run double. Shallow right field. And Soler brings it down for the second out. All right, here's the answer. Terry Pendleton. I wouldn't have got that if we had a month.
Tip. TP.
What was his year with the Royals?
Huh. Good job, though. I mean, that's a hard question because you just don't see those guys with the Royals.
1998 was his year with the Royals.
I wouldn't have got it.
Good question.
That was my last season. I was with the Phillies in the other league, so I wouldn't have known. But Terry was a teammate of mine. And a matter of fact, with the Cardinals, and he showed me a lot as Joe Torre came on after Whitey Herzog quit and benched Pendleton and put Todd Zeile at third base. Todd Zeile was a catcher, and he didn't have some of the right requirements to catch. They moved him to third base, benched Pendleton. Pendleton was a pro, didn't say a word, didn't pout, encouraged his teammates, carried himself like a real pro. I'll never forget Terry Pendleton for that. And then the next year, he went, I believe it was to Atlanta, and he won the MVP of the National League. The next year, what a facial. But he never pouted or anything. He earned it and deserved it and went on and showed him, hey, look, I can still play. Impressive. Uh-oh.
Nico Goodrum takes a 4-pitch walk.
He didn't want to do that. Sal thought it was close enough. Time for a little chit chat with Cal Eldred. Well, you know what? He has a beef. Look at yeah, Drew. Yeah.
He even pointed his glove out to Keller to say, hey, good pitch.
So maybe Cal will tell Mr. Young umpire, hey, look, help us out a little. Sometimes that's what happens. When the umpire comes out, look at Cal. Cal, all right, good job. Stayed focused and positive like he always is. Some old school managers would use that ploy, get the umpire to come out there and would tell him in front of his teammates what he thought about him. Cal's a pretty positive guy, and he's reinforcing to the young Keller, the rookie. Rule 5 performer that has excellent stuff. You see that? He's going to go mid to upper 90s. Nice little breaking ball and changeup. 2 outs, wants to get out of it here. Won't give him any more. Royals want to bring this one home.
1-1 on Machado. Two balls, 1 strike. The run in this inning is charged to Junis, so he gives up 2 runs in 7 innings with 8 strikeouts. 8 strikeouts ties Junis's career high. Now Machado bounces it to Moustakas. He'll go to the bag, and he beats Hicks there. So Keller completes the top of the 8th inning, and the Royals take a 2-run lead into the bottom of the 8th. 9th at Yankee Stadium. That is 21-year-old Gleyber Torres against Dan Otero with a walk-off 3-run home run. And now the Yankees have won 15 of their last 16.
They're on a roll. Did you see that? I think that was Harkey, the pitching coach out there, who dropped that home run ball. He had it. Maybe he was taking some lessons from Goldie. Okay, now I wanted to bring up Goldie because we missed his special day. Now Buck Farmer, he's in. There's no doubt. This guy's he's a good pitcher, but he's giving up a .316 average to his opponents. Look dead red. Goldberg, we missed his birthday yesterday. It's a bummer.
And Sam Abramson.
Yeah. So we want to take a moment to wish a couple of our MVP players on our team. Goldie, happy belated, man. By 1 day, we love you. Hope you had a good time. Yes. And Sammy. Sam can.
We're off tomorrow, so we'll take this time to wish a happy birthday to our director, Steve Kurtenbach.
Hey, man, way to go, bud. Too bad we had an off day. We'd be able to give you a little bit more love over here, but thank you for what you do for us.
1-2 on Witt, who's had a full day already. In fact, he had a full day by the 3rd inning. He has a double, a single, 3 stolen bases, and 2 runs scored. He's also lined out to left field.
In that 3-run inning, back in the 3rd, we had Hall of Fame, Negro League Museum Hall of Fame, not Hall of Famer, Bob Kendrick up here, and Bob was tickled to death to see Whitley running the bases and stealing, and he was saying that's what they did back in the day. Exciting.
Our Pepsi fans of the game. Hey, there we go. There's a sign for Joel. King Richard and Queen Sam, who are positioned below us and just to our right. Just foul outside of 3rd base. Jorge Soler lost a 10-game hitting streak and a 19-game on-base streak yesterday, but he's back at it today. He walked and scored in the 3rd inning, also had a stolen base, and then he singled in the 5th. And now he has another base hit.
Slider stayed up, and that's exactly what Soler's looking for, a mistake. Now, he likes to put mistakes in the fountain out there in left center field or in the bullpen, but caught it just right and stayed on top to get a base hit to left. Little spinner.
Now Mike Moustakas rolls into a double play, but he's already made his contribution. He has driven in 3 of the 4 Royals runs. So to the 9th inning, Kelvin Herrera will get the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. fuel, or battery with STIHL. Search STIHL. And by Ford, going further so you can. Dressed to the nines in our salute to the Negro Leagues, and the Royals lead 4-2 to the top of the 9th inning. Our copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Club. Kelvin Herrera shooting for save number 7. He'll get Grayson Grainer, number 8 hitter, Victor Reyes, and Leonis Martin. Ron Gardenhire has Candelario, Castellanos, and McCann on his bench. Grainer is making his big league debut today. He already has his first hit. That was a single off of Junis in the 3rd, and he's also flied to the warning track in left field.
But you can hear your hitting coach, Lloyd McClendon, telling you, if you're a young rookie and you're going up to your hitting coach saying, what's the closer got? Lloyd's going to say, he's got plenty. Just look for the fastball. Try to lay off of the changeup and the slider. He's got a big fastball. And you get your glove man out there, Lucas Duda, for defense. Even though Merrifield, certainly no slouch at first base, has a nice glove.
3-2 on Grainer.
Nobody on base, and Herrera throwing a majority of fastballs this year, more than any other pitch. I bet he challenges him here.
And it's grounded sharply right to Escobar. 1 away. It's been a good day for Royals pitching today. Jacob Junis was terrific again, giving up 2 runs in 7 innings, striking out a career high tying 8. Tim Hill and Brad Keller combined to pitch the 8th, or at least get all 3 outs in the 8th, and now they're sitting together in the Royals dugout. And the Royals are 2 outs away from their first series victory. Speaking of Keller, this is Victor Reyes. They were teammates last year at AA Jackson in the Diamondbacks organization, and then both were taken in the Rule 5 draft. In fact, they went 1-2 in the Rule 5 draft.
That's an interesting story there. I mean, I'm sure they've talked, but they're both right where they want to be in the big leagues.
Tigers had the 1st overall pick. The Reds had the 2nd overall pick, so they took Keller and then made a deal with the Royals. No play. Ball is kind of in no man's land on the right side of the infield, so Reyes is 1 for 4. He's on with 1 out.
Any ball hit to the right side, your pitcher's getting over. Herrera, he was on his way there. Duda, just that ball had eyes on it. No chance to get him. Plus, he's speedy.
Royals still have the highest bullpen ERA in the American League, but look at what they've done in their last 15 games. And they've got quite a bit to chip away, which they have, but in the first 19 games the ERA was well over 8. But now Royals have had a lot more confidence in the arms jogging out of the bullpen. Martin drives it to center field and deep. Almonte at the track makes the play. I'm going to say Martin, he might feel a little cheated. That has a chance to be a home run in many other ballparks, but not his. That's not even to the warning track in his ballpark.
No, not here. Nice to see Almonte making a catch with the sunglasses on. Attaway. He made a couple of nice catches in Boston there at the end of the game, too, that one we won. Look at Herrera. He's got a little body language on there. All right.
And now Nicholas Castellanos will come off the Tigers bench and hit for Iglesias. And he has 6 hits, a home run, and 3 RBIs in this series. And he's hitting .395 against the Royals this year. He has 9 driven in against the Royals this season. And he's done well against Herrera. All 5 of his hits are singles.
Big last out coming here for the Royals. And not a good swing. First pitch. But, you know, it's unusual for any team to go this deep in the season without winning a series, especially the Royals. But look, this is it's not been a normal beginning to the season as far as weather goes and all that. The team's playing much better now. But for Ned Yost and his team, this is going to be a big win if they can secure this last out.
One and one on Castellanos. Fastball running up there at 98 miles an hour.
Castellanos likes the ball middle away, so Herrera, you know, he's going to just pretty much try to stay in the lower part of the zone. But he's got good pop that way. Be careful.
And that's well hit to center field. Almonte fighting the sun, but he's got it. So a sharp ground ball to short. 2 fly balls deep to center field. And the Royals win it 4-2, and they take the series.
What a nice save for Herrera. El Toro!
Olé!
Well done. Moose with a big hit back in that 3rd inning. Driving the ball. How about Junis? Junis now facing the Tigers. 22 innings, only giving up 3 runs. Man, he's a Tiger tamer.
Last time Jacob Junis and Matthew Boyd hooked up was in Detroit on April 3rd. That game was 2 hours and 17 minutes. They hooked up again today, and it was 2 hours and 16 minutes. So the Royals take 3 out of 4, and they've now won 5 of their last 6 here at Kauffman Stadium, and they have their first series victory.
Boys are rolling with the help of their fans.
So you mentioned Mike Moustakas having a big day with 3 RBIs. Whit Merrifield had 3 stolen bases and 2 runs scored, and he's down in the field with Joel.
Yeah, Whit was off and running early in this one. First off, let's just talk about this team winning a first series for the first time this year. You joked earlier in the week that you're finally breaking a sweat with this warm weather. What's been the biggest difference with the way you guys have been playing?
We're just starting to put it together. I mean, it was just a matter of time. You know, we were pitching well and not hitting well and not pitching, doing both well and not playing defense. So when we do it all good, you know, we're a good team. We got a lot of talent, and we can put together some wins.
You got it all going good today. What about the performance of Junis once again?
Yeah, Junis has been steady for us. Come on, Joe. Come on, Joe. Enjoy the party, Joe.
Feels good today. Anyway, Junis.
Yeah, Junis, steady Junis. You know, he's been solid for us all year. No, today was no exception. So when he toes the rubber, chances are it's going to be a quick game, and he's going to put together a lot of zeros for us.
Appropriate today, as you guys are wearing the old Kansas City Monarchs jerseys that salute to the Negro Leagues, that you this morning were given the Cool Papa Bell Award for leading the league in stolen bases, and then you go out and you steal 3. But how much did that award mean, and how about running around the bases today?
Yeah, it was really cool. It was a really cool award to get, so I wanted to make Cool Papa Bell proud, and I think I did that today.
You've been doing some birthday shout-outs. You got one for back home?
Yeah, happy birthday, Pop.
There you go. Bill Merrifield with a birthday tomorrow, I believe, and Whit giving him that early present. Guys, let's go back upstairs to you.
What do you do with a wet fedora?
You wear it with pride. If Salvi gives you a dump, a little Salvi splash, Take it and like it, Joel. That a baby. Whit Merrifield. Now, this is not easy. We know the sun's been a problem, but way to bring down the win.
Herrera saves his 7th. Jacob Junis wins his 4th. And Joel needs a new hat.